I am an architecture aspirant. As a beginner in architecture, I wanted to crack NATA with a high score, so I have joined Perspective Foundation. Here the tutors are so friendly with the students and their teachings are so perfect and clear. Even though we had online classes due to this lockdown, the sketching session was so clear and I have learned everything without any doubts. In each and every class, we have learned something new and interesting. After completing these classes, I have got a hope that I will clear NATA with a high score. So simply as a one-liner, do you want to achieve your goal in architecture? Then pursue your goal with Perspective Foundation.
Morning, Rekha, go ahead.
Very good morning to everyone. I would like to welcome you all on behalf of Perspective Foundation. That's on NATA orientation program. And I would like to welcome Architect G. Rajaa sir, BR MR PhD, and founder of Perspective Foundation and principal architect at Signature Designs. He's working as professor at Periyar Maniyamai Institute of Science and Technology, and he has professional experience in this field for over 18 years and 10 years of academic experience. Honorably welcome you, sir. Sir, welcome you, sir.
Oh, very good morning, everyone. This is Architect G. Rajaa, founder of Perspective Foundation. Today, we are actually going to discuss about how, architectural course, basically the NATA is actually conducted and how the entrance examinations to all the BR, courses are offered. So we are going to discuss on that particular, topic. Before that, I just want to give you a brief introduction about, architecture. Now, basically, you need to understand why we are actually choosing this career and what is the reason why we are actually choosing this career. So it's a very important aspect for all of you to actually know what is first architecture. In what is the involvement of architecture, how the involvement of architecture is an idea which all these entrance examinations are actually having. Okay, basically, my dear friends, all the entrance examinations are based on the fundamentals of architecture. So how architecture, we'll try to understand. I'll present my presentation so that you can understand this better, and it's a good long presentation. In between, we'll actually have a long time. Basically, my presentation is going to cover the thing about what is architecture, and we will be actually talking about NATA, and we will be trying to discuss the NATA question papers, and we will try to understand how this NATA can be attempted. It's a very easy understanding, basic understanding of how we can actually understand, NATA. So that's the idea. So we are parting it into three parts. First, I want to actually talk about what is architecture. That's very important for all of you to understand. So I have studied my architecture from NIT Bhopal. My dear friends, if you remember, I remember my first day, in this August month only, I went to start my architectural career in Bachelor of Architecture. It was one of the most fantastic moment because, a person who is interested in some kind of an aspect is given the same aspect to study or do something, he'll be very happy. See, it's like Sachin Tendulkar playing cricket. That is the kind of a feeling which I had when I actually started, architectural course. So can you see my screen, Rekha? Is it all right?
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Okay. This is Perspective Foundation. The aim of Perspective Foundation is not about, coaching or, kind of a financial understanding, but Perspective Foundation's understanding is to create a great awareness about architecture to the young aspirants, because we believe today we are very inadequate with the number of architects in India. We need 15,000 is equal to one architect, but we don't have that many architects. I tell you, like when we were actually studying architecture, there were only 25 to 30 colleges which were offering architecture. And many people could not even understand what is architecture. If I remember, first project when I did, most of my clients used to call me architector than an architect actually. No, that is the kind of an understanding which they had about architecture. My dear friend, today Council of Architecture has opened up its avenue for many young aspirants to get into architecture to a great professional understanding. It is a noble profession, like what we are actually seeing about a doctor, a lawyer. This is also a noble profession where you are actually working on a particular building. I'm architect Rajaa, the founder and principal architect of Signature Design, professor at PMIST Tanjavur. So introduction to architecture, how we enter into architecture. That's a very important first question which we actually tell people. What is the introduction, how we actually understand architecture? And my presentation is going to be a little longer presentation. In between, we'll actually have a break. What is architecture? Who is an architect? What are the skills needed for the architect? What is an aptitude test? How the aptitude test is actually tested? What is an architectural aptitude? And we will actually discuss about the NATA 2021 first question paper. The NATA 1 question paper was already released. We'll discuss about that. Then we will actually discuss about the JEE paper 2A questions and in the interpretations, because it is very important you actually understand the basic formula. Most of the students who went to the first NATA examination, they were very clueless, what we are actually doing, They were very clueless about what they are doing. So they actually was very blank, and some people could not even pass the examination in the first attempt. Let us actually see what is an architecture, because it's very important you understand what is architecture. Then only you will be able to understand and appear for the NATA questions. It's very important. A painting is a two-dimensional thing where you can see something. A sculpture is a three-dimensional thing where you can walk around, a three-dimensional understanding. A building is a feeling, man. It is actually, you go inside that space and feel the space. It is a great understanding. When you actually get into the space, you start feeling your interior into what? Many buildings, if you actually see any buildings, they are all becoming the testimony for the future. Say for an example, you take a pyramid, or you take a Taj Mahal, or you take any building. Those people are not living today, but the tradition, the culture, the technology, and everything is actually there. They are all actually, visible and a testimony for that particular, region or particular culture or for the particular technology. It's very important. I request many people to turn on your cameras so that, we are all interactive people. We are all, architects, like we are all, aspiring to be architects. The moment you actually think about architecture, that moment you actually become a great creator. Creators actually should, not be hidden. You can always switch on your camera. Personally, there are all students of NATA and very acclaimed professors who are there here. So you don't need to actually hide. You can actually, switch on your camera and watch this presentation. It will be very interesting presentation. You can walk into architectural and buildings. Architects, what they do, many people think, what architects do, they don't understand what architects do, but they just design the buildings, just try to understand and try to design the buildings. There is only one thing which architects do, that is design the building, and they design the landscapes, my dear friends. They actually try to understand the surroundings of that particular place and try to understand the design landscape. They actually design the interiors. There are two important things in our world. If we actually see ourselves, we are from outside, we look very symmetrical, we actually look so beautiful. What is there inside? There we are asymmetrical. There is one heart one side, one lungs one side, have different parts which are working in different ways. That means the space gets enhanced when we actually, try to understand the interiors, that is designing the interiors. The architects are the ones who actually design, form, space and ambience. My dear friends, that is the reason why NATA and JEE question papers are more concentrating towards the form, the space and ambience. They are trying to understand, are you able to understand the meaning of 2 dimension? Are you able to understand the meaning of 3 dimension? Are you able to understand the meaning of form? Altogether, all these things are there. Then how you actually fit that particular thing into a space? That is called as a spatial intelligence. Now, form, space, and ambience is a very important aspect of architects. That is what they design to reflect functional, technical, social, environmental, and aesthetic consideration. My dear friends, what is functional? What is technical? It's all about engineering, science, and technology. Like a pyramid is actually made we don't know how the pyramid is made, but we admire the technology or engineering which is associated with. Many of the people think that, artistical expression, or I'm just an artist, I can actually become an architect. Yes, you have a creative understanding, but the creative understanding should get into creative manipulation. Sir, I can make a nice biryani picture, or I can make a nice flight picture, sir, but I cannot make a nice flight in reality or nice biryani in reality. That is not correct. You need to understand. You need to get understanding the basic formulation of this entire thing. That means this is something which is there in the mind has to come as a real picture. You can see this beautiful picture of bird's nest, which is the Olympic Stadium at China. You can see the outer frame, the form is getting attracted. People are actually attracting. It's like a honey pot. The honey pot is looking so beautiful outside. Then the honey is inside. You have to understand how the functional and technical understanding. The stadium should work like a basic stadium. It should have all the amenities. It should have the proper measurements. All these things are very important. That is the reason why an architect needs a creative manipulation, my dear friends, coordination of material and technology, and of course, the comfort which we are actually giving to the people. That means architect needs to have lots of basic understanding. A creativity should be there in an architect. Material understanding should be there. So let's actually see how architects actually behave. Now coming to this building, this is a beautiful Taj Mahal. I give it to somebody, they will say that, Rajaa sir, you are in love with me because this building is about, a feeling or an emotion, my dear friend. This building actually inherit an emotion. How a building can inherit an emotion? How a building can inherit an emotion? How a building can actually make you think Mumtaz Mahal is a beautiful girl. Till 15th century she was living, and today also you think she's a beautiful girl. That's because of the understanding Ustad Ahmad Lahori had towards this particular building. Try to make this creative understanding of Shah Jahan into a very beautiful building altogether with aesthetic, technical and functional condition. So building is not about only, it is not only about just a material. It's about an emotion also. What is a kind of an emotion which you all have to have. We'll see why architecture. Why are we actually studying architecture? What is the need for studying architecture? We all question what is the need. Why do we actually study architecture? My dear friends, there is only one God. There is only one creator. Architect, if you take any building in the world, you take Ahmad Lahori's Taj Mahal or a pyramid or Burj Al Dubai, any building which you take, my dear friends, all these things are a barren land, but it is actually converted as an environmental friendly human living space. Human living space is a great idea where we actually see human buildings, see people. When we actually start the life of a human, the architecture starts with a shelter. The human was running behind, because he was actually afraid of all animals and things like that. He wanted to create a beautiful space for himself. That's the reason why he went into the caves and started making these beautiful shelters. That is what is converted. Now see, people actually started making graveyards. The person who was actually searching life, actually, searching his death, he's actually putting pyramids and all that. We admire. A person feels that, making these beautiful buildings, that only makes me happy, or that makes me a great person altogether. That's what we call it, a form, to form the environmental friendly human living space. It's not only the feeling, my dear friends, it's about physical, mental and satisfying state. First of all, I want to ask you one question, my dear friends. Before we go, we all actually think about so many things. You want to be a creator. That's a very important thing, because if you want to be a creator, that means you are becoming a god. An architect is a god. God is the only person who creates. Only one God, only one architect for all the buildings, my dear friends. When we actually look at all these things, you see a person who is making pot or a sculpture, all these people can make you just feel through your visual compositions. But an architect can make you feel inside, because you sleep inside, you walk inside, you dance inside, even you die inside. All these feelings come together in a building. The building actually becomes a great marvel or an emotion, my dear friends. Architecture is about dancing. It's like hearing music. No, you always, like architecture is a passion. It is not only about a profession, my dear friends. It's about a passion. Talking about architecture is like you have dancing for the music, or you have to do it, act, make, construct, and create. These are very important words. Why I am saying all these words? They are very important for the entrance examination. This is what is tested in your aptitude test. They are actually asking whether are you a person who is having creativity, are you a creator, are you able to actually make, construct, and create. That's what we actually say. We are all the people who talk together. We talk to the people. Shah Jahan was spoken with Ahmad Logori. That's the reason why he could have created that wonderful building. Raja Cholan has spoken to Karura, and that's the reason why they could actually make that wonderful Periya Koil or big temple, Madurai Meenakshi Amman temple. There is a God inside all these temples, my dear friend, but the space which is enhanced by the architect is creating an emotion. That is what we call discussing the possibilities, criticizing the projects, and forming the questions. A lot of our teaching is based on the dialogues. We'll actually think about how NATA is testing this particular fabric. Architecture is about creativity, artistic and visual understanding. It's about technology and science, and it's about management and professionalism. There are three important aspects in 5 years of architectural course. First one is creativity. Second one is artistic and visual understanding. It's a very important thing. How creative you are, how visually you are trying to understand, how artistic you are. Then comes the technology and the science, my dear friends. Technology and science is a very important aspect to make something which is private or whatever which is the creative thing which is becoming a nice little reality. So technology is a very important thing. Then you have to manage. There are so many people who are with you. You have to manage the people to make your reality, like you have to actually, make something in real. You have to really work hard, my dear friends. Architect title or architecture, somebody is putting AR in the front. Say for an example, architect Rashmi Marcelina or architect G. Rajaa. It is not just a feeling, my dear friends. It's a style. Architectural Act 1972 says it is not a profession. It is a style, because architect Rajaa, what he creates cannot be created by anybody else. So it's a style, my dear friends, like superstar Rajinikanth or Shah Rukh Khan. We have a style. Same way, architect title or architecture is a style. How to acquire that style, my dear friends? It's very important. One acquires such a qualification, you need to become Bachelor of Architecture, BArt. Bachelor of Architecture degree course in architecture is a 5 years full-time program. As I told you, it is actually divided into 3 parts. It's divided into creativity, management and professionalism, technology and engineering. At last, there is a research program also which is involved. Available in more than 400 institutions throughout India and many other recognized institutions across the world. My dear friends, there were only 25 colleges when we were actually studying. Today, COA, the council has actually opened up its wings so that many architects or young aspirants can come forward and study architecture and learn architecture and become great architects. My dear friends, skills which are needed for architecture is a very important understanding which we need to understand. One is a creative manipulation. Then we need to actually understand about the sense and the scale and the proportion. Then aesthetic sensitivity, how you observe the things, how your critical thinking ability is actually there, how your cognitive abilities are actually working, how you are drawing. That means how you are actually, visualizing and interpreting through some medium. It can be drawing also. It is one of the major, because drawing is a major component, when it comes to expression, because many people actually express. If a dumb and deaf or a blind person also can express his ideas through drawings. That's the reason why drawing becomes a very important aspect of the architectural course. Then the general awareness about architecture, whatever we know like we want to know about any subject which we know about that particular subject, how to test all these things within you. So let us actually see how they are testing it. My dear friends, creative manipulation is nothing but whatever creativity which you have, how you manipulate that creativity, bringing the entire sky falling on top. Then you can see this beautiful jackfruit is actually converting into a great thing. Small 2-dimensional shape, small feelings, small 3-dimensional thing, very cheaply available material. All these things are coming together and creating a beautiful space altogether. That is creative manipulation. Then the scale and the proportion. The God is there. down there in the Garbhagriha, in a very dark space, my dear friends, but the scale which is of that particular space is enhancing your emotion. That scale and proportion gives the value for that doctor, for that particular person. This is next, the aesthetic sensitivity. You have to, when I'm giving you a rose flower to Devyani rose flower, the Devyani says, you know, the rose flower is good, that's it, enough. Or I give some biryani to somebody else, somebody says, okay, sir. And our moms will say, like, you know, I worked so hard on that particular biryani, but you are just saying it's only. The beauty has to enhance the aesthetic sensitivity is nothing, my dear friends. It is the feeling which you actually get out of you. It has to come out of you. You actually see a poem, or you see a music, or you see anything, or a dialogue, a comprehension. Everything has to be appreciated. That is called as an aesthetic sensitivity of a person, not only seeing a picture or something. Then the critical ability, how you convert different things into different, say, 2 dimension, 3 dimension. Just see, you know, just a box, a small little cube is actually converted into many aspects in the world. A small pyramid, which we make it in our pocket, is actually made a beautiful pyramid at Egypt, you know. This is a critical thinking ability. Then very important, you have to have the cognitive ability. What is cognitive ability? It's a very important thing for any creative person. It is not only for architects, for any creative. If you want to actually make a movie director, you want to actually become a great artist, you want to become a fashion designer, anybody who is creative needs all this value-based cognitive skills. What is that? First, you memorize. What is your memory? Have you memory? You are seeing all NATA question paper 30 seconds, but you are all getting confused because you're all counting 1, 2, 3, 4. You are not actually understanding. You are not trying to memorize, or you are trying to understand. Process, how you process that memory. How do you understand? How do you process? How your logical reasoning, how do you come to a logical reasoning for that particular picture? Then how you mobilize your concept, you know, how you mobilize your concept, and how you perceive things. There's a different way. You actually perceive things in a beautiful way altogether. And how attentive are you? All these things are called cognitive ability. Cognitive ability is a very important thing for architects. You know, it can differ. It can differ from people to people, my dear friends. If you take a cognitive ability, a perception, attention, recognition, and memory, you can see. One person can see it, 6, somebody can see it. That is what is asked in your preferential type questions. Preferential type questions are not actually, you know, asked to test yourself. Don't think that you can answer everything right. My dear friends, it's not possible. Everybody has got their own quality. They have their own quality. Somebody can actually work on riddles better. Somebody can actually work on, you know, general awareness better. Somebody has got IAS kind of a common understanding. Somebody can take a situational judgment very well. It's about different qualities of people. But how you perceive, see, you can see the perception. Somebody is seeing it 6, somebody is seeing it a 9. It depends upon the perception. This is one of the NATA question paper. Last time they have asked, there's an image. It's basically how attentive you are. Just check. It's, I think many people have answered wrongly. All calculated it very well. But the problem is they are not attentive. They said, like, they're saying other tigers are hidden. There is a written verbal thing which is there. Check out the image to find where the other tigers are hidden. But we are very fast. We want to do everything very fast. Like, we want to finish everything very fast. You know, we are like 2 minutes Maggi noodles. We don't actually allow anything. Just see, attentive, perceive. Check out the image to find out where the other tigers are then. That means whatever tigers which you are seeing, you don't worry about those tigers. Just minus it. I'm saying if there are 12 tigers, many people have written 16 tigers. And somebody asked me, how many, sir, how they are not giving me mark? They are giving mark for other people. There are people who actually found 7. There are people who found 4. They gave 1 mark, 3 mark, 5 marks, different marks to different preferential type questions. But you know, when it comes to a question paper, then there are people where you actually going away from the attentive understanding. This question has your perception, attention. It needs a visual ability. It needs all the qualities of cognitive that can make you answer this question. It's all very simple. It's all you are doing for your life. You are all done these things in your UKG and LKG. Motu Patlu is doing every day. right? No, like our map, what's her name? I don't know, forgotten. That map, that person is actually doing every day. The problem is we are all contained ourselves into this physics, chemistry, and mathematics for 12 years. If I ask somebody from your one of the intelligent student, I ask, even you ask me, I scored some 97% or something like that. You ask me, then I will tell you what was the line in that page in my 12th standard physics question paper. I mean physics book. I still remember that 77th page, 4th line, 2nd paragraph, what was there. I could still remember. That is the kind of a memory which we are having. Is that the memory which we want? Is that the memory which we want? We don't want that memory. We want memory that can be cherished. That is what is very, very important, my dear friends. That's what we need to understand. This is about recognition. Recognition. Yes, Swamita. I can see that recognition spelling itself is wrong here. But many people don't recognize that. Because Rajaa sir said recognition, okay. We don't recognize that. Then we actually say yellow, blue, orange, green, and red. Then you can see that what is the color which is asked here? What is the color which is needed? What is the best color? What is the color which is painted in its same color? Then we search. We try to understand. That is what is your ability, man. It's a very simple question. You ask Rafael, my dear 6 years old person, my son, 1 year, is 1 year, first standard. You ask him, he will immediately find out this purple in this. But we are all, because we think that too much. We think, when we are actually talking about gravitational force, we think about atmospheric pressure and how the rocket is actually flying. That is the kind of an understanding which is given it to us for the, long time. We don't actually think just a petrol. We think some complicated, chemical reaction actually happening with that. It's simple petrol, That's what we actually have to. This again, you can see that understanding how attentive you are, how many ships are there, how attentive you are in the particular project. Then the drawing skills and the NATA memory-based understanding. How you actually, understand your memory. My dear friends, many people tell me, sir, I'm able to find only 10, sir. I'm able to find only 5. Okay, cool. It's all right. That's what is your ability, my dear friend. That's what is your ability. Architecture is explaining or expecting that ability. One person can do interior. One person can do architecture. One person can do hospitals. One person can do residential. I cannot do everything. I cannot eat a biryani. I cannot eat a sambar sadam. I cannot eat, a pav bhaji in one day. You need to actually have understanding. Are you able to actually, understand, memorize few things? That's more than enough. Don't actually get agitated when you are getting some questions, Concentrate on the next question. Don't actually think about drawing skills are very important. It's always to, express your creative idea to observer. Many people are saying now, sir, there is no, college, there is no drawing test now. I tell you, my dear friends, drawing is the one which will really improve your quality of cognitive skills. It will actually make you more observed. It will make you, into more observation. So work on drawings. Keep working on drawings. If there is no drawing in, NATA also, keep working on drawing. I'm sure you'll be able to actually crack NATA much, much better than JEE paper 2A is very, very clear. JEE paper 2A, you can see that geometry is properly organized, general awareness is organized, everything is organized. In NATA question paper, it is actually about an understanding of various parameters which they are testing. There are nothing wrong with what they are doing. They are trying to understand many a fabric, try to understand this. Then the general awareness, my dear friends, if I ask you what is Shah Rukh Khan's wife's name, then you might be actually saying the right answer if you're a fan of Shah Rukh Khan. Or if I ask somebody from South, what is the difference between Abhishek Bachchan and Amitabh Bachchan? They will say both of them, they are looking like Bachchan, so no problem, sir. But they don't know both of them are actors, Then the same question I actually asked North Indian friends. They say like Rajinikanth, what is the difference between Rajinikanth and Vijayakanth? Maybe they are brothers like Abhishek Bachchan and Amitabh Bachchan, They might be actually thinking in that way. So it's about, your own general awareness. How you are passionate about particular thing, my dear friends. Whenever you are passionate about McDonald's, are you passionate about pizzas, then you actually try to find out what are the basic components which are there in that. Surely, if you are coming to architecture also expects you to have that general awareness. That's what this is FL right of falling water. You can see the environment, the spaces, the 2-dimension, everything is coming alive with the unified composition. What is an aptitude? End of the day, we're talking about aptitude. What is an aptitude? What's the difference between an aptitude and a test? ranking test. Ranking test is actually about, you ate something and vomited. That means whatever you actually, studied, are you actually trying to understand what is there in that? That's actually the basic memory based, exams. We call exams. Whether you are fit for that exam, not fit for that exam, nobody cares. You studied or not, memory based. But aptitude is a natural ability. That means a person who is actually having ability only can answer an aptitude test. I can see many students are very good in aptitude because they are very smart. You actually go to the UKG and LKG classes, we'll see more aptitude. If you want to be a musician, my dear friends, you must know some of the basic knowledge about music. If you want to be a photographer, you actually want to, you know about something about your photograph. Now I'm coming to the very technical part of architecture, how you go into this architecture. This time 10+2 examination with at least 35% marks in physics, chemistry, and mathematics. Last time it was 50%, and also at least 35%. Anybody who is actually studying in 11th standard, please note, next time, if there is no COVID pandemic, there will be 50% you have to score in PCM. Also is very important. And also 50% as an aggregate. Many people come to me and say like, sir, I have 60%, okay, in overall, but I have scored 45% in my mathematics. No, you're not fit. You're not into architecture. Not this time. Not this time. This time, only 35%, roughly you have to pass. All of you have passed. This is the first batch, very intelligent. We are all waiting for our results in paper. We are afraid of our, fail or pass. You're all passed. God bless you. I mean, you're all passed. Now you can actually enter into architecture. This is only one hurdle. You have to actually get qualified into this NATA examination. Passed 10+3 examination with mathematics for diploma students who are actually doing. You don't have a lateral entry. Please understand, architecture is not about any basic. Architecture starts with day one in architectural colleges, and day one preparatory is actually NATA. So very simply, you can take it. Preparatory is NATA. Day one in the college professionally you are getting. So no diploma holders will be giving a lateral entry into that. Don't ask this question again. Must have passed NATA examination. 2021 NATA, the National Aptitude Test in Architecture, is conducted. It's going to be conducted. Already there is one test which is conducted. Again, the next second test is going to be conducted on the 11th of July 2021. Okay, so we are going to actually study about that. We'll actually think what is the National Aptitude Test. This measures the aptitude of the applicant for the specific field of study, that is architecture. Assessment of cognitive skills for the drawing and composition, observation skills, the sense of proportion, aesthetic sensitivity, and critical thinking ability. So it's going to be, please register at, you have time till 30th of this month. So please go ahead. Anybody who is not registered, tell your friends to register. You can go to www.nata.in. Mandatory to get admission into Bachelor of Architecture colleges across India. I tell you, many people say, I have passed JEE, so I'll be able to actually get in the universities. No, not possible. The 2020 regulations are very clearly saying that you have to actually get mandatory into this, NATA examination. So you please, all you understand, you have to actually go into NATA and qualify in NATA examination. Totally, it's a computer-based CBT examination. Choice of a test center will be allotted by the Council of Architecture, the COA. Okay, my dear friends, it's about the question paper. Please carefully, if you want to write down also, please write it down. Take a screenshot, whatever you want to do. How NATA this time is conducted. It will be 125 questions. Last time, they asked 125 questions with 10 memory-based questions for 200 marks. Okay, there will be multiple choice questions, multiple select questions, preferential choice questions, and numerical answer type question. That is NAFQ. Let's actually see how it works. What is an MCQ questions? Before that, I'll tell you what is the admission process. Okay, type 1 in an admission. Total marks in 12th standard, say it is 600 by 600, so 100 marks. That is the 50% will be actually taken from that. Total marks in NATA, say 200 by 200, 100 marks will be taken from that. So if you score very well in your NATA examination, it will be a great advantage, an added advantage for you to actually get into architecture and one of the best colleges. Cutoff is 200 for all the universities. Okay, all the universities. There are some universities which take their entrance examination and NATA. There are some universities like Maharashtra and all that, you have different board exams. Karnataka, you have different board exam. Karnataka, for other state people, they have COMET K. So you can apply through COMET K so that you can easily actually get into architectural colleges. One of the finest colleges is Ahmedabad, Anna University at the Chennai, SAP School of Architecture and Planning, Jamia Millia, Sir JJ. There are colleges in Tamil Nadu which are Periyar Maniamma University. There are many colleges which are very acclaimed. They are actually of very big colleges. In Coimbatore, we have SAN Academy, and we have McGann School of Architecture at Ooty. There are so many colleges in and around the places where you can actually study your architecture. Anna University counseling will be applied for some colleges. Like for an example, I told you about, say for an example, if I want to go to any college, MIAC or any college which I want to, MIDAS or CAD or any colleges which I want, which are affiliated to Anna University, my dear friends, you have to apply for Anna University counseling. So you have to apply separately for Anna University counseling. Okay. Now you want to actually, go and get admission in Periyar Maniamma University, Satyabama University or SRM University. Then you have to apply for that SRM University. If Telangana or Andhra Pradesh, there is some university which is not affiliated with the AP government, the counseling, then go actually the common entrance test is there in Karnataka CET. So you apply for that also. State level policies are there. If you have any doubt, you just give me a call or ping me or message me. So I'll actually guide you in that counseling process also. Okay, this type 2 is actually percentile in JEE paper 2A examination, that whatever 97, 98%. I mean, there are many people already have very good. There will be 2 exams conducted. One exam will be actually, can you hear me properly? One exam will be actually, Helen, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Percentile in JEE paper 2A is very important. The rank is very important. That will allow you to actually, there will be a JOSA counseling. There is something called JOSA. So the JOSA counseling will be actually conducted. It will be held for JEE paper 2A, and all NITs, School of Planning and Architecture, centrally funded universities, you have to apply to JEE paper 2A. Already there is one examination over in, I think in March, February. Another exam actually held, I don't know whether it will be held or not, but there will be another exam, second exam. The NATA and JEE paper, 2 different contrasting, papers this time. So you have to study separately for both of them. If you want to move have more knowledge about JEE paper 2A. This is one NATA and JEE paper 2A coaching. We actually do it with our mentors, my dear friends. It's like Dr. P. Satish Kumar or our mentors, and there are many architects and professors, eminent architects who come and teach in our this thing. Our students who actually are alumni, they are actually the ones who are already studying in SPAs and SAPs and NITs. So many people are actually studying from us. Just wanted to tell you. Okay, coming to the MCQ pattern. MCQ pattern will be only one answer will be there. This is the NATA question. A solar eclipse will take place when? There is a question which is asked. So you have to questions. MCQ, a solar eclipse will take place when the sun is between the moon and the earth. So there is a question which they ask. Answer any question, my dear friends. You can actually put one question answer. So there will be 1 mark or 2 mark, whatever the question. NAQ is a numerical answer question. Okay, numerical answer question. So you have to answer through a numerical idea. That means you have to calculate and say a numerical value. Say for this question, there is a cube which is given with a hemisphere, then asked you to actually understand the geometrics and asked you actually an understanding of how you answer that. So you have to write that correct answer, 10 centimeters. So that is the answer which is actually given here. Okay. So you have to write that question answer. Answer any one answer if needed, answer with numbers. So there could be choice also, or it could be a written message which you have to do. Okay. Then the third one, the preferential choice type question. That's a PCQ. That's what I told you. It's about perception. Many people can have different ideas, but some of our smart people have very different ideas. Why don't we actually put maximum? So we put maximum. They don't calculate and all. They're very smart people. They say 7. Okay. Anyway, preferential type person. Inky Pinky Ponky, father has a donkey, I will get an answer for this. That's what we think. But it is not the correct way. It is actually you have to calculate. If you calculate less also, that is not a problem, my dear friends. You will be given less marks only. But if you calculate which is not there, they will not be giving you marks. That is called as preferential type questions. So answer is A 2, B is 3, C is 1. Anybody who is actually having an appropriate answer has to be given. Many marks will be divided. Then the multiple select questions. These are principles of architecture. You can see there are different ideas which are given. So you have to find which is the most appropriate, selection. So you can find that and you can answer 2 questions in the 2 answers in that. They will ask 2 important, 3 important, 4 important or something like that for your understanding. 11/7/2021, the D-Day. So that is Sunday. No, it's a Saturday, I think. I don't know. Okay, fine. 11/07/2021, session 1, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. 180 minutes will be given for you, and that is 3 hours. So you will be actually answering. Session 2, if required, will be actually conducted by the COA. Okay. So let's actually concentrate now how we actually go about this entire matter, my dear friends. Okay, I think we'll take a small small break. Can you put your put that video on Rashmi now? Can you put the video? Is it possible? Okay, just a minute. One small, because I'm also just. For the new people, just we are putting it at. Mute somebody's calling. Mute who is actually
and I'm an architecture aspirant. As a beginner in architecture, I wanted to crack NATA with a high score, so I have joined Perspective Foundation. Here the tutors are so friendly with the students and their teachings are so perfect and clear. Even though we had online classes due to this lockdown, the sketching session was so clear and I have learned everything without any doubts. In each and every class, we have learned something new and interesting. After completing these classes, I have got a hope that I will clear NATA with a high score. So simply as a one-liner, do you want to achieve a goal in architecture? Then pursue goal with Perspective Foundation.
Okay, we'll continue our session. There will be 2 things for the coming session. One will be the NATA 1 question paper will be discussed, and the second one is how the NATA question paper should be approached. Okay, that is the idea of this the coming session. Okay, we'll be actually working on this particular thing. Oh, you're sharing? Okay.
Yes, sir. Shall I?
This is one of our students. Don't mute yourself. Okay, no problem. I think there's a small technical error which is from Rashmi's side. So we keep on actually discussing about how to approach this NATA question paper. That's what we are going to actually do now. So let's actually start from how we actually approach the question paper. Okay, so that's first important thing, because we don't know like what is the magic which is actually behind that system. So let's actually see. Can you see now? Am I audible? Am I audible? Devyani, can you see me, right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
fine. Okay, this first is the diagrammatic reasoning that tests the ability of logical reasoning, my dear friends, using the diagrams and the scenarios. Okay, that's first diagrammatic understanding. We'll try. I'll tell you how this works. Numerical reasoning is a test of mathematical ability through the simple problems. Okay, so the third one is verbal reasoning, assess the quality and ability to the assessment of the verbal logic. Inductive reasoning tests the ability to see the patterns and analyze the given data. Okay, we have parted this how NATA question paper is actually how they asked in the NATA question paper. Situational judgment, because very important for anybody who is a good professional. You need a situational judgment. You have to judge. Okay, test problem solving. So test problem solving ability. Logical reasoning, it is about, because as an architect you need to actually understand, recognize patterns, sequence, relationship between shapes and imagery. What is a cube to a cuboid? What is a circle to a cylinder? Basic understanding. Then only you'll be able to actually understand architecture. Abstract reasoning. It is about your general knowledge. Who is an architect? Which is the tall building? And ability to utilize those knowledge in new situations. That's an understanding of all these things. Abstract reasoning. So how it is related? I told you about that. Okay. So diagrammatic reasoning, we actually make it into 5 parts. I'm just making an abstract reasoning, critical thinking ability, problem solving ability. So it's very important we understand all these important things. It's very, very important for anyone to actually have. Okay. Diagrammatic reasoning. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you see the chat, Devyani?
Yes, sir.
Sorry again. Can you see now? Can you see now? Is it visible, Helen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you can see this diagram, you can see there are different sets which are there. There are different sets which are there. So are you able to actually analyze these different sets? Because you need to understand what is a 2-dimension. Then only you will be actually knowing how to actually understand this. Then you need to know what is the space, how we just parted. What is the different parts which are there? How many sides are there? All these things are actually very important. Then only you'll be able to answer this diagrammatic this solution for this question. Like you have each shape is made out of 3 segments. Okay, each shape is made out of 4 segments. That means how you are perceiving that particular thing, how you are understanding the shapes, how your 2-dimension is there. The shape in the figure consists of 3 segments. The answer. So the same 3 segment is there in that particular set A also. So please understand, this is what is called as diagrammatic reasoning. Very simple, very simple. Numerical reasoning. Numerical reasoning is interpreting the numerical data. It could be geometrical. You can analyze it and draw the conclusions based on that. So that is actually a numerical reason, not mathematics, basically a geometry understanding. So you can see there is an annual income distribution of 1 paragraph which was given. So they're asking how we actually calculate what is the major understanding? What is it actually, contributing to the annual income? So that is a question which they have asked. So you can see, you can add up a little bit of here and there, trying to understand through diagrams. Then you can actually reason that. That is a numerical reasoning idea. Basic addition, subtraction, and basic understanding of reasoning aptitude. Verbal reasoning is a very important aspect. Architects actually need a verbal reasoning, verbal understanding. It's an ability to understand and comprehend a written passage. Architects are usually very good people who actually speak very well. These are designed to maintain, basically it's a kind of aptitude level understanding also. It is not only for architecture, for any particular field where you are a manager or an administrator, you need to have an understanding or a hold towards the language. That's very, very important. So let us actually see how it is working. Say for an example, a very simple aspect: cotton, wool, tree, paper, seed, flower, stove, oven. At least you understand the basic. Cotton na wool, tree na paper, seed, flower. Okay, stove is oven. Say for an example, the solution is given like this: the sand is processed and turned into glass. Just as trees are processed to make paper. If flower grows, then it actually becomes a seed. It's a visual understanding, or you are actually interpreting into yourself. You're trying to try to understand, manipulate, or try to understand. But there are no artificial processing involved. So the answer is actually a tree and the paper. So important you understand the answers. Then the inductive reasoning. What is an inductive reasoning? Determine the possible answer, best matches for the next figure. How understand the understanding which you have in that particular missing or replacing figure. You can see. Don't get confused. All of you are actually having a problem. You think everything is mathematics. Whenever there is something actually given, then you always think in mathematics. Oh, what is this? That is the kind of a problem which you get immediately. Please don't panic. First of all, see, observe, like it very well. Newton has done a very simple thing. When the apple has fallen on top of him, he actually found gravitational force. He did not make many calculations. So if you push somebody, the moment of inertia will be disturbed. That's it. Very simple aspects. Then don't actually make everything. You don't think like a doctor. If I actually get a wound, I'll get a blood. Blood does contains all these things. Don't think about all these things. Okay, that will actually create a hemorrhage. Will you actually think about all these things when you get a cut? I'm getting a cut. Only you'll actually say. So please understand that. Please try to observe, perceive. Now you can see. See what's actually happening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 2. Simple. That means there's only one line it's going to be there. Now, simple strokes. So try to understand. It's a simple stroke. Then you are right, cross, right. Then try to understand what does that actually mean. All these things. First, the shape in the center compromises one fewer lines, straight lines every time. The shape in the top alternative between being a triangle and being a square. That's what is actually happening. Whereas a cross when both shapes have the same number of sides, 0 sides, and a tick when they have different number of sides. Simple. You can easily answer that question. So that is what the most smartest people is. They always give 3 answers for the best answer, because the question paper setter himself gets confused, because his inductive reasoning is, I have to actually make him confused. That is the inductive reasoning of that particular examination setter. Logical reasoning is nothing like a monkey. How you actually think about a broad group of aptitude tester. We'll actually discuss about that. Say what replaces a question mark. It's simple. Again, you actually perceive. Think about it. It's basically about the monkey thinking. It's like, how this darkness is actually happening, how the shadow is actually happening. You can actually think about it. You can easily do the logical reason very clearly. Rule 1, the total number of stars in each box is equal to the total number of edges on the lat shape in each box. That means you have to observe, you have to create a theoretical understanding towards that. When the stars are shaded, the large shape is also shaded. You can see. So that is the idea. Just try to find out what is the logic behind. What is the logic? When you see a movie, what is the logic? When you see a car, what is the logic? When you see a spectacle, what is the logic? When you see a dress, what is the logic? Think about the logic. Situational judgment is a very important aspect for all the people. It is not for architects alone. It is about a scenario, or sometimes whatever is actually happening, the situation, you have to take a call. How to take a call? Somebody is going to jump from the river. What will you do? I will take a selfie, or I will take a video camera. Is that what we are doing nowadays? No, we don't save that person who is actually trying to commit suicide. We always try to take a selfie. No, like so that's what possible actions. What is the possible action? It's a suggestion. So this is a question paper. You can see a departmental manager has got some things. So what is the kind of an answer best suited for that particular thing has to be given. What you have to learn: basic concepts in mathematics, physics and geometry, language and interpretation, elements and principles of it is all. I tell you, in a NATA question paper, NATA brochure, I'm telling you, so not contradicting. They say there is no coaching needed. But without coaching, it is impossible, because basic concepts in mathematics and physics, chemistry only you have learned in your college. You know what is a Pythagoras theorem, okay? But you don't know how to interpret a Pythagoras theorem. Elements and principles of design. Color theory. Nobody knows what is a triadic color. Nobody knows even a primary color. How will you know a triadic color? Then you have to learn lateral thinking and logical thinking, spatial compositions, visual perception and cognition, graphics and imagery. You have to keep practicing. Building anatomy, architectural vocabulary. You will not know what is a lintel, what is a span, what is an arch, what is a vault, what is a groin vault, what is a semicircular arch, what is a pointed arch. And if you go to an architect, there are many people I'm seeing that, don't go to an architect. If you go to an architect, you go to medicine or doctor, then you'll be actually cracking the examination. You'll be knowing about medicine. So go to an architect and find out whoever architect is nearer to you. Just ask him what is the building anatomy, and he will tell you basic techniques of building construction and knowledge. Material. What is the material? Granite, marble. What are different materials which are available? General knowledge and current affairs. Like Filmfare Award is given for what? What is the Filmfare Award? What is the Padma Shri Award is actually given for what? Why Nobel Prize is actually given. But if somebody asks you, you're an architectural aspirant, you want to be an architect. If they ask you, what is the award which is given for architects? Then there is called as Pritzker Award. Okay, there is a Pritzker Award. You have to know all these things. So very important. We try to abstract is a very simple spatial understanding. So we can actually get that accurate decisions through an abstract reason. So that's the idea. Coming to a conclusion on these things, then we'll be actually discussing on the NATA, question paper. JEE main paper 2 will be actually, conducted for BARC and B Plan. Then it will be actually for the School of Planning and Architecture, SPAs, NITs. JEE main paper 2 syllabus is into BARC and B Plan. So 3 hours, 30 minutes. General aptitude, mathematics common for both, while third part drawing is BARC and planning part is for the B Plan people. So JEE main paper, very simple, easily attempted. Mathematics of your CBSE or whatever your syllabus is, that will be asked in the part 1 question paper. General aptitude, that will be 100 marks. General aptitude will be for 200 marks. Very easy. If you work hard, general awareness, you understand the shapes, you try to understand the two-dimensional idea, you can understand surface development, 3D visualization, easily you can actually crack this. Drawing, the third, the imaginary drawing, 2-dimension to 3-dimension drawing, 2-dimensional shapes and abstract making, all will be asked in the drawing. That's also easy. You can actually score 100 marks. General questions from the planning will be asked in the part 4 of the B Plan question paper. This is the way the NATA 2021 examination was actually framed. What you have to study is elements of design. So you have to understand visual geometry and understand that. Then geometry is a spatial intelligence and graphical similarities. You have to actually understand. You have to go through the principles of architecture. That's very, very important. You know how to actually, say it's a repeated one, harmonical one, all these things. Spatial organization, whether it's linear, it's grid and pattern, relationship between different papers. Like I show you one of the diagrammatic reasoning question paper where you have to actually really understand the spatial relationship. Color theory, how many colors are there? What are primary colors? What are secondary colors? What are the different color schemes? All you must know. Light and shadow, how a creative light is actually coming into the system, how it's actually making the light and shadow, very important for JEE paper 2, creative expression. Visual compositions, spatial compositions, very, very important. Many questions, the imaginary questions are asked. They are all based on visual compositions. They have even asked a Fabulinecki series actually last time of golden section. So all actually coming into this visual compositions. Okay, so you have to actually understand the visual composition. Perspective is very important for your real life making. My dear friends, if you keep practicing on your perspective, then only you'll be able to actually transfer that knowledge of observation to your NATA or JEE paper 2. Cognitive ability, keep practicing, keep working on memory questions, perception, processing, logical reasoning, attentive. Don't actually search those things. Please observe it well. You can answer it much better. Elements of design, first question, they asked a question like this: how many total squares can you find? You must know what is a square. It is a right angle. Then you have to know architectural designs involved with basic understanding the basic visual geometry, such as lines, shades, and solids. So you read elements of design. Geometry, architectural design, explore the geometry and exploration of geometry. This all these things, a shape which is cut from that. So how you actually fix that in a grid or a space? Then you need to understand what is a grid, how the space is actually working, how elevations work, what is the side elevation, what is the front elevation. Geometry understanding is very, very important to try to understand the geometry. Visual principles. Now, architecture has got lots of principles because we see the music. Anybody can sing a song, right? Like whenever somebody is singing a song, a person sings a song with a rhythm, kind of a music, that tone should be proper. All these things we expect. The same kind of visual principles we have to actually think in architectural expression also. There will be 2 or 3 answers they'll be asking, so you have to find a better option. Don't actually panic again. Just look at it, my dear friends. You will see what is there. You can see the flow, you just look at it, look at the picture. Don't panic. Don't think you are not knowing the visual principles. No problem, just think about it. Then spatial organization, how we actually space. Buildings are related to space. Understanding the forms with the spatial relationship is very, very important. To understand that, how you actually unfold the fabric, then how the faces will actually understood. Spatial relationships is a very good concept which you need to know. Color theory, they are asking through many advertisements. So you try to understand how the color selection aspect is actually coming to the architectural design compositions. Try to understand what is that, identify the color schemes properly. Then the visual composition, they are asking about different visual compositions. Like, there is a rule of third, there are golden sections, diagonal sections, all these things. So you can actually go through, you can read about all these things. This is actually what is the series they actually asked. So that is a golden section, which is Fibonacci series that they call it actually. So theories related to visual compositions you read. Then for JEE paper 2 or for any examination, it's important you actually imagine yourself properly. So try to actually make your memory, perception level, attentive level improve with your concepts of drawing, make it more realistic, more understanding. Architectural level of architecture, understanding the various buildings and styles in the building in the past, all these things actually need to be understood. Identify the interest which you have. This is Madurai Meenakshi Amman temple, which you can see. This is architectural awareness. What is a semicircular arch? What is a right arch? What is a pointed arch? To know about all these things. So please try to understand all this. Architectural awareness, building construction and material, understand the various building construction techniques and all that. Okay, so you can see dome, vault, shell, arcade and all that. And geometry, you can see multiple geometries which are giving negative and positive, then compositions are actually given. So understand the spatial composition through the geometry. This is what is the toughest thing people are actually believing, and there are some riddles also. It's about only your memory, my dear friends. You have to work. Memory, perception, processing, logical reasoning, and attentiveness is a very important aspect. That is the basic skills which are needed for any professional who is a creative person. So carefully observe the picture and take 30 seconds. Carefully observe. This time you will be able to answer. You try about your memory, improve your memory and perception through different exercises which you can do. Verbal reasoning and situational judgment. So you'll be giving passages in English. So you can actually take those passages and basic skills you understand and try to evaluate through that. Okay, the analysis of NATA 2021 question paper actually goes like this. You have the general knowledge, approximately 11 questions which are asked actually. So physics, they have asked 9 questions which are more of distance and velocity and all that. The geometrical questions, which are 9 questions which are asked, there are 24 questions which are asked from the English comprehension and all that. So please beware, like you have to actually work a little bit more on that English comprehension. Try to build yourself. The building construction, they have asked 3 questions. Architectural aptitude and general knowledge, they have asked almost 9 questions. Logical reasoning in a numerical way, you have to write the numbers, that is actually 6. Logical reasoning in a verbal way, they asked 2 questions. Logical reasoning in a verbal way, they asked 8 questions. History of architecture, they asked 1 question. Art movement, they asked, because you need to know what is surrealism, what is impressionism, what is an expressionism, all these things. You can easily actually go to the web and find out that. Diagrammatic understanding, there are 8 questions which are asked. Color theory, there are some 3 questions were asked. Principles of architecture, many questions are asked from principles of architecture. Even in many other questions also it is incorporated. Artistical general knowledge, that is regarding art, like Ravi Verma's art or anybody's art, which is related to architecture. So they are asking that. They have given building plans or history of architecture again. So they asked questions based on that. There are riddles. Riddles are a common aptitude things, So there are only 7 riddles. So try to, because they are giving riddles because they thought like you'll be answering riddles very easily because you are kids. Memory boost question, that is 10 questions. You have to really work on. You have to understand visual composition, principles of composition. Then only you will be actually able to get the clear knowledge on this particular thing. So work on that visual composition. Try to understand. Contact us for any guidance on NATA and JEE paper 2. We are Perspective Foundation. My number is 99421. We will be discussing on the question paper. Just wait. I'll just go through the question paper very fast. 99408454454. www.perspectivefoundation.com. You can go. You can actually like our page, FB page, Perspective Foundation. In NATA online coaching classes, we are constructing 15 days first basic knowledge for the new students. Like day 1, we actually talk about the shapes, elements, and all that. Then we'll be actually coming up shapes and shadows and identification of shapes and surfaces. Then the day 3 will be actually working on, because there are different views which are given to actually understand the surface development. So we will be actually working on how we actually open up the elements and all that. So day 3 will be isometric, oblique drawings and orthographic projections. Day 4 will actually have color wheel and color theory. Day 5 will actually principles of architecture. Day 6 will be theory of architecture. Day 7 will be perspective drawings. Will be actually teaching you how perspective drawings works. And day 8 will be actually giving perspective drawing 2-point perspective. Then day 9 will be actually discussing on the geometrical puzzles and spatial intelligence. Day 10 will be actually improving your cognitive skill. And day 11 will be actually dedicated for building construction. Day 12 also will be dedicated for building construction. Day 13 and the 14th will be actually dedicated for history of architecture. Then we'll be actually having a 15 days. 15th we'll actually talk about different architectural meanings, architectural importance, questions from architectural awareness, technical terms in art, architectural terms and their meanings. So that is what we are going to actually do in our 15 days program. After that, there will be every day there will be a mock test actually on the basis of the subject and NATA question paper, and there will be one mock test, full mock test for the aspirants before they actually attempt for the NATA examination. Morning 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock there will be classes, theory classes, and from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock there will be practical classes with exercises. Okay, so just let me not actually finish here. We are going to discuss the NATA question paper, which was actually released last time. So we'll actually have the NATA question paper. Okay. I'll just go fast this NATA question paper. This is the NATA question. Are you able to visibly see? This chat?
No, sir.
Let me actually make comments. Please. Just another 15 minutes. I'll actually close my screen. Just wait 2 minutes. மியூட் பண்ணி விடுங்கப்பா. So let me actually talk about the NATA test 1, which is like what is just 2 minutes, 15 minutes. I'll just finish this. This is not a question paper, last one. So how many questions? General knowledge. They asked this many questions. These are the questions which were asked on record, so that everything is there in YouTube. You can go through, and that's the reason why I'm actually sharing this. General knowledge, you have these questions. General knowledge, again, even this is a color theory, but it's actually coming under a general knowledge because you need to know about this. This is also a color theory, general knowledge. Then you have the physics question paper. Basically, it's a very simple thing. Okay, it's a very simple physics question paper because it's not about physics also. It's about distance, velocity, and this Pythagoras theorems and all that. Basic physics. The speed of light will be minimum while passing through the following. Is a very basic 3rd standard, 4th standard question paper. Okay? So please understand what is the value of those questions. That's very important. You understand. It's all very simple physics questions. Formal traveled a distance of 61 kilometers in a 9 hours. Basic fundamental theory of a question paper. So please understand. It's all very easy. You can easily solve the physics. Geometry is a very important thing. So if you are given a circle, geometrics you have already studied in your 12th standard. Again, you will also be taught here also. You need to know about the angles. You need to know about different way if you actually work out, just put a diagram. So again, a diagrammatic reasoning only. Just put a diagram, then you'll be able to solve these questions very easily. It's a simple things they have asked. Okay. Geometry they have asked lots of questions. So please, then asking how many are the rectangles are equal. Very simple. The recognition is easy for you. Yeah. English, it's a very simple English actually. They are asking. So how you can actually interpret many students who are from rural side. If you have any problem, just go through your 7th standard, 8th standard, 9th standard English comprehensions and try to understand more. Try to read more from your newspapers and all that. Okay? English. Many questions are asked in English. Okay. Then the building construction. So you must know about building construction. What is a dado? Dado means a tile which is actually associated with the wall. Like arches, semicircular arches, how the semicircular arches will become a dome, then how it actually becomes a vault. So you must know all these things. So that is very important as far as the building construction is. This is a dormer window which they have asked. What are the types of window? Dormer window, bay window, basic understanding. You have to learn because you have to study very well for architecture. Architectural aptitude, like they are asking some buildings and they are asking where is it actually there, which one is nominated for water World Heritage List. This is all very UNESCO World Heritage List is a very important one because it's a prestigious one. So please, all of you, go through that and find out in UNESCO's website what are the World Heritage ones. What is the tallest building? Architecturally, if you don't know what is the tallest building, then it's not correct. What is the oldest monument? You must know. The basic architectural aptitude, it's a graphical idea, it's a diagrammatic reasoning again. Then, about the different, spatial understanding or visual compositions. Visual composition is a very important aspect. This is actually a tough question. Not easy. You have to read for this actually. And that also, who found it is a very difficult question. But anyway, logical reasoning in a numerical way is very easy. Pythagoras theorem. And like here you actually work out with your complex understandings, and you can easily actually answer these questions, and you have to enter the understanding. Logical reasoning in a numerical way, so you can actually find the series and percentage and all that. It's also a very simple aptitude understanding, so you can work on this particular thing. Logical reasoning, verbal is actually going with the situational judgment also. You have to actually understand where is he actually going. Again, it can be learnt. Like it's a very simple aspect. I'll teach my friends also regarding. It's very easy when directions are actually given. The surface development and the orthographic projections are actually given often. and they are asked the JEE is fully with the orthographic projection surface development. You need to understand really well. You try to make models and try to understand the surface development and orthographic projections better. Again, the same questions, the plan, views, and all these things you must know. So if you don't actually get accommodated with all these things, very difficult. You need to have a good coaching. Have a good coaching. Not with me, for anyone. Have a good coaching with a good architects actually. Surface development and orthographic projections. Try to understand the shape and how they are intersecting, addition, subtraction, and intersections are actually happening. Then surface development and orthographic projection, again, it's a diagrammatic reasoning, again, a question which is more related to, reasoning type. Then history of architecture, they might ask you a Madurai Meenakshi Amman temple, or they might actually ask about a Greek amphitheater or a Roman Colosseum or anything which you must know actually about history of architecture. This is the Gothic church styles. It's not only styles in architecture. It's a history of architecture associated again. It's a Gothic architecture. So you can see the flying buttresses. So you have to try identifying. You can identify a Chinese man, Indian man, South Indian. So you have to identify architectural buildings also. Art movements. This is one thing which is very important. What the art and artistical movement, there's Art Deco and all that. So you can actually read out in your Google and take a nice presentation of it, of art movements. Then the diagrammatic reasoning, the diagrams will be given, the symbols will be given. You have just find what is the understanding through that. Then this is also a kind of a diagrammatic reasoning only. Find out in which segment the thing is there. So it's you have to observe. You have to be very attentive. You have to perceive things. Then you'll be able to actually answer these questions very easily. Again, same thing. How the pattern is actually made in different ideas. So this is the differences which you have to actually find out. It's a numerical reasoning, not only diagrammatic. It's the numerical reasoning also. The color theory. So Burger King, what is the color theory? How many colors are used? So how that 3 colors are used? What is that 3 colors? Whatever it is, you have to actually identify. Again, this is a basic understanding towards the color. So try to understand that. Again, this is a color theory, how the tone and shade actually works. So you can find out how that actually works. The principles of architecture, very important. There are many principles of architecture. Try to actually have a very good time with the principles of architecture. Try to understand with an architect so that he can actually tell you about principles of architecture. Then the principles of architecture in different pictures. Artistical GK. So what is expressionism? What is surrealism? What is imperialism? All these things you must know. You know about the artists and all the people. There are lots of riddles which are asked. Many people are asking why riddle is asked. Riddle is nothing but just make you happy first. Then visually how you are going inside a particular thing. Now, riddle is the one which makes you get into the attentiveness grows with the riddles actually. When you actually see a riddle, you try thinking different things. Different things comes to your mind. You actually proportionately put this. John has 4 mothers. Okay, one child name is April. So you will be thinking in different ways. That's the idea. That's the idea. So that's to make you actually attentive, more attentive. That is the reason why the riddles are given. Riddles are tested. Riddles are given in all competitive examinations. Okay, please go through the riddles. The building plans or the history of architecture, again, they have asked you like what is this, and you have to answer. So St. Peter's one. Then how it actually opens up. What are the concepts behind that? So you have to have master of idea in history of architecture and building construction. Okay, then the Meenakshi Amman temple. It's not building plans. It's again history of architecture. You can see that Meenakshi Amman temple is actually given. They wanted to identify because you must know what is a spire. You must know what is a kalasa. You must know. What is an amalaka. You must know. You must know what is a gopura. So all these things you must know. Then only you will be able to answer. Should you work hard a little bit for all these things? The building which is given for Jawaharlal Kala Kendra by Charles Correa. So this how it is actually worked out. So you can answer that. It's all very easy. So memory-based questions. How many old people are there in the park? They are the only people. All others are kids. You're all calculating the kids. Not necessary because you just odd man out always. How many kites are? How many houses are there? That's one thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can think in that way. Or you can think, how many boats, because they will ask only an odd man out. Or how many benches are there? They might ask you actually. But they may not ask you how many kids are there. It's very difficult. Many people, you get diverted into that. Nobody will ask you how many kids because you will be automatically calculating that. Just observe it. Just observe it. Just see it for 30 seconds. Now you also look at this for 30 seconds. You will be seeing everything properly and you can answer it. Again, the memory-based questions of different ideas. Look at it, don't calculate. Just look at it for 30 seconds. Perceive, then you will be able to answer. Again, observe it. They're saying already, observe it. That's what they're saying. They're saying just observe it. Because they have observed it. The questioner has observed it for 30 seconds. Then he said the question. Whatever he knows. You understand what I'm saying? The questioner saw that for 30 seconds. Whatever his mind actually has taken it, he has actually taken as a question. So you also observe it for 30 seconds. Don't think about anything. Again, the same fabric which is taken out. So they will be asking about the memory-based questions. So that ends the session. Thank you so much. I hope I haven't bored you. I tried to actually give you the maximum because there are only say 25 days left for our NATA 2021 second examination. Okay, in July 11th. So you all get prepared. I wish you all best luck and best wishes for architectural career. For your any question you have, you don't need to think that Rajaa sir is only coaching. You can ask anything, architectural awareness, or you have any doubts regarding architecture or architectural colleges, you can call me or you can just ping me in my WhatsApp. You have my website also. You can ping me. I've given my number 99421 93380. So I think Rashmi will actually, Rekha ma'am, architect Rekha will actually post a mock test for you guys, for you to actually just get a clarification on better ideas. They'll be asking some details about you, so you can leave your details so that we can actually work on that in a better way altogether. Okay, thank you so much for a wonderful time. I leave it to Rashmi for concluding the session. Thank you so much.
We thank you, students, for spending your valuable time, and we thank Architect G. Rajaa, founder of Perspective Foundation, for elaborating on what is architecture and its topics. I think students will be benefited, and the session would have cleared all the questions and doubts about NATA. I thank each and everyone for choosing architecture and for tuning this session and making it successful online. Thank you, students.